Welcome to the Let It Shine podcast. I'm Donna Tipton Howell, your host, and thank you for joining me today. I've been thinking a lot about the benefits of being thankful, of being consistently grateful for the blessings that tumble down from above. I was reading about the Northern Lights, and I don't really understand it all, but there's an aurora that folks travel far and wide to see this beautiful glow, these lights that appear. And it's interesting to learn how the molecules interact to form that. And people are said to have their own aura, almost like a glow that surrounds you. You've heard of a negative Nancy, someone who finds the dark side of almost every situation. And on the other hand, maybe you've been called a Pollyanna, that you're always spreading sunshine, but you're not really facing the realistic part of life. Well, research actually supports the concept that folks who are more grateful actually have a more positive outlook and almost an inner glow, a peaceful aura surrounding them, if you will. In the past, most of the research on gratitude and positive psychology, which I studied about when I was in college, it did not include looking at those with mental problems. They mainly just looked at average people. But recent studies at Harvard, they focused more on those who are already in therapy and used them as their subjects. And they would give them assignments to write notes of gratitude or think about what they were thankful for. And it actually improved their well-being. Gratitude helps us feel more positive emotions, to feel more connected to others, and it boosts our self-esteem. A life of gratitude seems to produce more purpose in life, which is imperative for our well-being. An old quote I heard long ago, and I've looked but cannot be attributed to any particular person, but it says 3 things everyone needs: something to do, someone to love, something to hope for. I never forgot that. It just stuck with me. Well, being a Christian provides us with all of those. We have something to do every day. Besides our everyday work and chores and hobbies, we have service to render in the kingdom. We wake up thinking about what we might do for someone else today because we are so thankful for what God has done for us. We have a real purpose to our lives in becoming more like Christ every day. We have someone to love. We have really so many to love. We're to love our family, but everyone. But the added treat, I think, of having brothers and sisters of faith like ours creates a bond and responsibility we feel to care and love each other. And in 2 Corinthians 1:3, it talks about that we ought to always give thanks to God for other Christians because of their growing faith and their love for each other. This is a bond that cannot be experienced outside of the Lord's body. So we are instructed to actually give thanks for each other and to each other. We need to think about doing this intentionally. James 1:7 tells us that every good gift is from above, coming down from the Father of light. Isn't that a beautiful thought? God, as the Father of light, sends down blessings and good gifts that sustain us, that keep us, that enrich us. He sends the sunshine and the rain. He sends us people to love, and Jesus, his Son, to redeem us. Even with all the good gifts, though, we can get caught up in the difficult parts of life and become a bit negative in our thoughts so that we overlook the positive. Perhaps looking at the benefits of gratitude that gratitude affords may help us get back to a sunny frame of mind. Of course, God has directed us in his holy word to give thanks to the Lord for his goodness and his enduring love. 1 Chronicles 16:34. Experiencing gratitude, it's been found, actually activates these neurotransmitters in our brain. One, which we associate with pleasure, and then serotonin, which regulates our mood. You've probably heard of that. Gratitude also causes the brain to release oxytocin, which induces feelings like trust and even generosity, which promotes social bonding and contentment. So just looking at the brain shows that a person who is grateful and thankful continually actually feels better. Some ways to become more grateful to God and our fellow men are fairly simple. I keep a prayer journal, and it helps me focus on specific things I'm thankful for. When I write them down, it almost seems just to be, I seem to be more aware of what I'm thankful for. You've often heard when you're down, you should count your blessings. And I've tried this sometimes. But I think instead of that, counting my blessings, I've found that it's more effective to consistently, all through my day, look for those things in my everyday walk of life that I'm thankful for, and to actually stop and voice my thankfulness to God for them. Sometimes when I'm working in the kitchen, I thank God for something so tiny like those zipper baggies. Imagine what life was like before we had those. When I take a walk, I can't help but thank God for making me a steward over this beautiful piece of land where I live. At night, when I wake up, I thank Him for my home, for my warm bed, especially if it's cold outside, that I'm in a place of shelter. When I wake in the morning, I'm so thankful to Him for the night's rest. I often thank Him for my church family, my preacher, my elders, and especially for those who taught me the truth, for those who were examples to me. And all of these I can really focus on when I'm thinking about these people. Then that's a good time to thank God for them. I thank Him for my health. After going through some difficult treatments in 2019, it's made me more aware of the days when I wake up and I do feel good. What a wonderful thing to thank God for. I thanked Him when I was working for my job that I so enjoy, but now I thank Him for my retirement that gives me time to do things I love, like maybe being with one of my grandchildren, maybe just reading a book and having a cup of coffee. I like to thank Him for the seasons, both of the earth in the seasons of my life, all the things I've learned, for the things I've been allowed to do and to see, and for His bountiful gifts that fall daily on me and my family. But the third thing in the quote about what everyone needs is something to hope for. Whenever I've ended a chapter in my life, I've tried to have something to look forward to, something I wanted to try, like doing this podcast or writing a book, or when I had a second business with my daughter. But even if all this is taken away, the hope I have in Christ, really, it's enough. Isn't it amazing how scientists and psychologists are so surprised when they find connections between things like gratitude and a sense of well-being? If humans have listened to God's counsel and followed His pattern for our life, we would not need experiments and studies of the brain to show what gives a sense of well-being. All the things God asks of us is, of course, for our own good, if we could only believe that. Men have proven over time the benefit of prayer, meditation, and now studies on gratefulness. In all our quest for life's meaning, and God, who made us and knows our hearts and needs, must be smiling down as we think we are figuring out the meaning of life. So guess what? Mom was right when she harped on us to write those thank you notes, to call someone and thank them for having us over or for giving us a gift. There are so many benefits of being thankful. Gratitude actually improves relationships, like with spouses. Thank you for taking the trash out every week. Thank you for cooking for me. Thank you for mowing. Thank you for taking me out on Friday nights. Those little voiced gratitudes really strengthen a relationship. Or employee-employer relationship. Thank you so much for coming in, or needed you. Thank you for staying late. Thank you for listening to me when I was a little bit grumpy. Or thank you for giving me time off so I could go visit my sick mother. Just voicing that or writing that or sending a text to someone really just benefits those relationships so much. And it helps us focus on what we have. Being grateful, telling others what we're thankful for, helps us not think of what we're missing out, but on everything that's good for us. And perhaps most of all, it gets us looking outward to others and upward to God, so that we are no longer looking inside our own selves. That's where the negativity comes, when we focus on self. Rather than making time to give thanks in prayer and having just that time of day when you're praying to be thankful, try making it a consistent talk with God as you go about your daily life, noticing all the little things that He gives you. Tell Him and others thank you whenever you get the chance, and watch your aura glow from the inside out, making your life a warm and sunny blessing, not only to yourself, but to those on whom you shine. Have a great day.